All right, the next thing I want to do is when we get into the dagger a little bit to the abecedario again, I want to talk a little bit more about the grips on the dagger. So there's different ways you can grip the dagger, obviously, and if you have the double daggers, we're going to go through that. So if you have two daggers in your hand, you can have the two pointed up. You can have, obviously, the two pointed down. Then you can have the right one up and the left one down. And you can have the left one up and the right one down. Now, if you take the double dagger, which are double end dagger, I should say, when you have the double end daggers, which is obviously you could either hold two daggers or you have something like this, which is a double dagger. So now you can have obviously the two double daggers in your hands like this. Then you could take the double dagger in one hand and the grip pointed up in the other hand, or the grip down, or pakal, or if you're this way with the sock grip in your right hand. Then if you switch it this way, then you can have the sock grip, or the heaven pointed up this way, or the earth, or you can have the pakal grip pointed down. So this is the different ways that you can have the two daggers in your hand. So the different patterns that you can use, obviously you're using, if you have the double dagger, the two double daggers, and so we're going to show some of the training methods doing that. So first we're going to go into the solo dagger, and Jeff's going to feed me, and we're going to go into the third stage of abecedario. So he's going to feed just a basic pattern, and on the third stage again, you're coming back with 3 or more blows. Now on the double dagger, or the single dagger, when you're doing the third stage abecedario, when you come in, you're going to come back, you're going to cut once for your counter, and then you're going to come back in with either double slashes and a thrust, or you could come back, if you're here, you can come back with 3 thrusts. That would be fine. You could come back with 2 thrusts and a slash, or 2 slashes and a thrust, and any combination of the 3. You could just do 3 slashes. So when he feeds, you just have to feel it and see what feels right. So again, if you're feeding, he's feeding in the numbering system. 1 cut, slash to any of the targets, and thrusting. You could thrust, thrust, slash, thrust, slash, thrust, follow up. More slashes and thrusts. Cut down, any number of slashes and thrusts. So it's never going to come out the same. You just have to feel it. See what energy the guy is feeding. On the 8, you can thrust up under and then go into the disarm and go to locking or throwing from here. All right, now going on a little bit more with the abecedario with the daggers. This time we're going to go with the double dagger versus double dagger. And we're going to go to the first stage of abecedario. So Jeff's going to feed, and we're going to go slowly so we can show it. We're just going to cut and still do the gunting, just like we have with the other weapons, and then come back with 1 thrust. He feeds the next line, gunting and thrust. So we're still in the first stage of abecedario. So when you cut, you could thrust with the left hand, or you could thrust with the right hand. You can go from closed position to open, or open to close. So you could open up on either hand and come back. So again, gunting, you could come back with the left or right hand. In this case, I'll come back with the right. Then I could open again, cut, come back with the left, open again, cut, come back with the left on this side. And then if you come here, you could either go closed position to open or open to close, whichever fits in when you're doing the drill. So cut, thrust, cut, thrust, cut, thrust, cut, thrust. So this would be in slow motion, the abecedario first stage, using the double dagger. So now when you use a double dagger, also he could have the grips changed. So we could go like this, and I can receive where I have 1 dagger this way, and he still feeds me in this position. So that then you would be cutting and having to deal with the use of a dagger in a reverse grip position when you're doing this. So now you have to figure out how you're going to best use the dagger in a reverse grip in the right hand and what makes sense to come back with which blow. Then obviously you'd have to do it in the opposite position, and then you have to do the same type of thing. So if you're doing the gunting, you might be going this way. If you're scooping, it might be coming back this direction. So again, you have to deal with this position of what's going to make the most sense when you're cutting the arm. So if you're hooking here to cut it this way, are you going to go with the dagger and cut under and do the gunting this direction? So it's going to make this thing a little bit more difficult for the coordination to deal with. Then you have to take the dagger and then put both in the reverse grip position and then deal with cutting and still doing the guntings or the counters and having to deal with the daggers in a reverse grip position. Okay, then of course he would reverse his grips as well when he's feeding. So I could be receiving this way, and then he could feed the same, coming back with the reverse grip, slashes or thrusts. And then the same drill, you should practice this way. So again, this is first stage of abecedario, changing the grips. Then he could go back to the sock grip, and then you could do the same thing if you had the double dagger, or double end dagger, I should say. When you're here, you could be thrusting with this end or this end. When you do the gunting on this side, you cut out. It could be here or it could be here. So you have, basically, you could be thrusting with either end of the dagger on each of the cuts. So here, you could come in, use the reversed end of the dagger or the front, or same thing with the left hand, coming in on either side, come back here. And of course, if you're going to beyond the first stage of abecedario, then it could be several cuts and thrusts using the dagger on each side like this, because when you have it this way, you obviously have the ability to do this motion on either side. You can slash with either side, and you can thrust with either side of the dagger. Okay, so on the next one, you're going to use the grip in the reverse position in the left hand, and the heaven position, or sock grip, Pakal grip. Usually we say sock grip, and Pakal grip is the most common way that we term it. But it's also heaven grip and earth grip sometimes also. So when he comes in, this is usually a grip that gives most people problems if you're right-handed, because you have to coordinate the left hand in a reverse position, which can make it tough. So it could be cutting this way, obviously both doing the gunting this way. You could be coming over, hooking it, and then coming back with the left hand this direction. And then you either have to, when he comes with the next one, scissor out this direction and come back. So you can still do the guntings, but you're going to have to coordinate on how you're doing the slicing with the grip in the reverse position on the left side. So if you're coming over again, you can go like this, cut and hook and thrust, and then he comes here, gunting, slash out with the right, over here, slash, come back either with the left hand or the right hand. And in reality, you would want to bring your body closer to the opponent on most of these. I'm staying out a little bit so that you can see it for the purpose of the video. Sometimes if you do things and it's in too tight, you're not going to really see what's happening. So in reality, you probably go in more, but right now for the purpose of the video, we're just staying out a little bit. So again, just to review, you want to have your grips, do all these drills, all the abecedarios with the different grips, person feeding in all the different grips, and you also receiving in all the different grips, including the double end dagger method, which we talked about, and also having the solo dagger with a double end dagger in the other hand. Okay, the next area or portion that we're going to get into is the single stick disarming, or solo baston. So we're going to start with angle 1 and go into some of the different hand sectors into the disarms. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about the disarming. Disarming has to come if you're sparring, or if you had to really fight. You don't want to look too hard for the disarm, because usually if you're trying too hard for it, you're not going to get it. It's elusive. So obviously, the first thing in the Filipino martial arts many times is to strike the hand or to cut the limb and that would act as a disarm. But you should also have disarms that you can follow up with, locks, throws, and but again, you have to work it out of the flows. Even though we're going to start with just the disarms in a stationary position, you have to work it into flows, and then later you can try to put it into sparring positions. So you don't want to look too hard for the disarm. You want to just let the disarm happen when it's in the right position. So we'll start with the angle one, and the first one we're going to start with that is the most common disarm is the snake. So again, obviously, the smash to the hand is the most important thing, but you're going to come and do a counterclockwise snake. You bring it up and around, and you could have the stick up. When you do this, of course, you could hit his other hand, you could hit his head, and then punch it out here. So again, the snake position comes around. You could hit the head or hand and bring it out this way. Okay, then you could do the snake, the same thing, except have the stick pointed downward and pull it out. So if you go like this, bring it out this way. Now, some people, students, make a mistake when they do the snake is they try to hug it and bring it into their bodies this way. That's a little bit, it's not really the position that you want. You want to open that hand up. So you want to bring the hand around more this direction or this direction so that his fingers are opening up this way. Sometimes you even put the palm here to open up the fingers. So that would be in a sector 1. So let me go into the sectors. You have sector 1, sector 2, sector 3, sector 4, sector 5, and sector 6. So that's the ones we're going to use right now. So from here in sector 1, the next one you're going to do is a backhand strip. So you're going to peel the stick this way. When you bring it back here, you can hit to the head, you can thrust to the throat, you can hit to the body, you can thrust on this side of the body, you can hit the leg, you can thrust straight up into the body this way, you can thrust on a diagonal up this direction. So in other words, when you do this backhand strip, you can take it out using the hit to the head. You could take it out if you went like this and thrust into the throat. You can take it out if you hit to the body this way. And you could take it out if you thrust to the body or hit to the leg. So for the purpose of video, I don't have to disarm it every time. So after you go here, the straight thrust, this thrust up to the throat, this can be a curving thrust that takes it out on this side. Also, from this position, you could bring it up and punch it out on this side of your body by bringing the stick up into this position, hit to the head maybe, hit to the leg like this, and then bring it up and eject it into the face going this direction. So again, for the sector 1 right now, you're using the snake, hit the head, use a snake, you can push it up this way, use the backhand strips position, so hit to the head, thrust to the throat, thrust to the body, or hit to the body, hit to the knee, thrust straight to the body, curving up, and then also straight up, and then a curving thrust to the throat. And then you could also bring it up this direction and pull back with it. So when you bring it up here, it's like you're cradling it and bring it back this direction with a hit as opposed to the thrust. And the last one, you come up this way, would be bringing it up, ejecting it into the face or body, and obviously following up with any blows. Okay, continuing along, we're going to go into the sector 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 disarming. So if, again, the sectors that we're using for now for this numbering system is going to be sector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and sector 6 if there's a puño. If there's no puño, you don't have a sector 6 under here. If the guy has a stick like this, obviously there is no sector 6 there. So when we're doing this, going into sector 2 now, you're going to take the first one's going to be the 4 strips. When you go this way, you're going to roll it and push it out of the hand this direction. So this would be sector 2. Take the hand and move the stick this direction. Okay, you're not trying to yank the stick, pulling it this way. You want to kind of move the thing on an angle so that the fingers open up in this direction in slow motion. Okay, so this would be a sector 2 going in that direction. The other sector 2 we're going to use is you come back and you can thrust here to the face, or when you come back you can bounce and hit with the puño. Hit with the puño again, or the butt of the stick. Hit with it again if you want, 2 to 3 times, and then eject it out this direction. So in this case your hand is here, so this is still sector 2. Smash the hand, and eject it into the face. Okay, now sector 3 is when you do the switch to the hit or cambiata. So when you come in here, the sector 3 can be ejecting down this way. So when you do the switch, you can come over and you can obviously eject it into his face, going this direction. Okay, or you can come out and just obviously put it out to the side. So it's off of a switch and hit. So you go like that and then hit it out. Okay. The other sector 3 you're going to use is when you come down, hit to the head. You can hit to the hand if it's in a way, and pull it out this way. So again, you're going to come in, over, and down, and take it out. So this would be sector 3, coming over, down, and take it out from the bottom. Obviously you could keep it or eject it. The sector 4 we're going to use is you come up here. So this is sector 4. First one, you come through, just eject it into the face. Sector 4 is usually used from a position like in the puño sombrado when you come up here. And right there would be sector 4. And the second one we're going to use goes out this direction. So the sector 4 from an angle 1 perspective is here. Again, when you come down, you're going to hit the knuckles here. You can hit him here. This is the second one we're doing, and eject it out here, and obviously follow up. And the first one we did on sector 4 is you're inside sector 4. You pull this up. You can go straight and eject it again into the face going this direction. It's important on the disarming to always control the thumb area when you're doing the strips. So you always want to have the thumb so that you weaken that thumb area for the disarming. So when you weaken this by gripping into it, it makes the stick come out a lot easier for that type of disarming. Okay, so again, to review on sector 4, the better place to do it, as we said, is to come up from here, put the hand in sector 4 this way, smash the hand, and eject it out to the side here. But we're doing it from from angle 1 now. So again, the same principle applies. Come in, smash, eject, or the first one, you come up this way and eject into the face. Okay, sector 5 is when you're coming under this direction. So your hand is, instead of being here on 4, it's going under. So when you go like this, it's kind of like the gunting, and you can eject it again, like sector 4, into the face. So it goes here, eject into the face with the horizontal position of the stick. So this is coming in, my stick is going horizontal, ejection into the face. And the other way to do it is it goes vertical. So you just hit down straight. So you hold your stick in a vertical position and bring it down this way on the face. So you have horizontal and vertical. Okay, sector 6 is an easy one to remember. You just hook your hand under here, and of course this could still smash on the knuckles this direction. And now on this one you can use your thigh to eject it this way. You can use your left foot from this position to kick it out. You can use your right foot to tap it out this way. You can use your butt area to take it out this way. And of course you could be putting the hits in as you do all this with the sector 6. So this would be the disarming from 1 through 6, and there's a lot of other disarms, but these are the good basics to work from, so you have at least 2 from each of these sectors, from 1 to 6. Okay, continuing along with the angle 1, now we're going to just do a few more because there are so many different disarms, as I said, that you can use. You could do, especially someone like Guru Dana Santo could do several videos just on disarming, but we're going to keep it fairly simple but still give you a variety. So when you come in here, you're going to do a strike down at the head this way and then just pull from the puño, and usually you're going to inject that into the groin. So when this one comes in, you go like that. Of course, you always hit, that's important. And then if the puño is like that, I'll do it to the side of Jeff, that hip into the groin area. Okay. So another one we're going to do is you can do it from an inside deflection as you come down and then you go into a vine. So when you come in here, you hit to the kneecap. Of course, you can hit to the head and that's better. And you hit the nerve right here in the wrist. So this shot is a good shot because it already affects the thumb, and then you just flip it this way. Okay, so that would be one example of the vine coming up, coming in here, and moving it out this direction. Another one you can do from here, similar, is that you start to go this way. If you can get it this way, this could be obviously a thrust to the eye or a thrust to the head as you come out. So you hit low and you hit high, and you can strip it going backwards. But if you fail here and start to go like this one always comes back. Now we found in stick fighting tournaments, because a lot of the people from Princeton Academy fought in the World Championships and were very successful, one of the main disarms that they used and was very successful was this particular disarm with the equipment on, because with the equipment it's a little bit different because you're padded along the arms and body. So when you go like this, you try to hit here, and if this wasn't successful, and a lot of times it wasn't because the guy had a good grip on it, this was always successful because the elbow was just, the power of that coming back would open it up. So that's another good disarm from the angle one. Coming back here, if you switch and hit again, you hit, you can go under and eject it this way. So you come across, hit the head, and then hand under and eject it. And of course it can go into the foot, into the body. When you're doing this angle, you could take it and go into the foot going this direction. Okay. Then you have the, on this angle also, when you switch and hit coming in this way, and then he starts to turn the wrist, and it comes down here, you can pull and strip. So sometimes when you're coming to hit to the head here, and you want to go under or over to disarm, the guy's wrist turns. So you want to push with this hand and pull with the lower hand. Again, a mistake that some of the students make sometimes is they go like this, and then they're trying to pull the stick with both hands. Actually, my left hand is going to push, and this one pulls on the back angle to get this out. So this would be another disarm that's fairly common because you try for this, and then you have to switch. Okay, so that would be on the angle one. Continuing along, if we go to angle two, if he hits on an angle two, and we outside deflect, you have the hand here, you grasp it, and again, you would always put your hits in, but again, eject into the foot or the groin. So if you go like that, you outside deflect and eject it this way. So it's an angle two, you come out, hit, of course you can punch the hand this way, eject it into the foot or into the groin on that way. Then you come out, you can put the hand under and do the same thing, coming out this direction. Again, the hit on the hand is the main thing, but if you didn't get it, or you did get it, you still follow up. And when you're doing this, coming back, if you can hit the head at the same time, or obviously right afterwards, you can follow up with any blows that you want to come back with. So that would be putting the hand on this side, ejecting, putting the hand on the bottom, so the hand on the top, hand on the bottom to take it out. Then you can also roof block from this side, hit down, and go back to the disarm that you did from the other side. So you have the strip. So if you roof block here, let's say you hit down and come out, now you can thrust or come back and follow up with the disarm this direction. Then you can umbrella on this side and come out and follow up. So you have the roof block off the angle two, hit any hits that you want to put in, and then thrust, or you can do the variations that we already showed. You have an umbrella that comes under, hit, same idea. You can come back with the disarms from the backhand strip position, and as you recall, from the backhand strip position, you had all these variations already to come back with, and you can keep the stick if it's there and do your follow-ups. Okay, so these would be some of the ones from the angle two. Continuing along with angle two, now you can go like this, and you can insert and vine coming back. So if you go like this, come back and vine it this direction. When you vine it this direction, this inserts, this comes around, twists the wrist this direction, and comes out. So here, come in and bring it out. Then on that same angle, if you're going like this to vine it, you're going to take this hand, and now you can pinch it this way. So you're going to pinch the thumb and bring them down, which is very painful. So if you insert it here, bring this around, pinch the thumb and roll it, and then you could bring them to the ground with that thumb pinch, which is, again, very painful. Others that you can do from the angle 2 is you can start to do the snake. Okay, so you can go to a half snake and punch it out. So if you're here, this starts to come around, hit, come to this position, and punch it out. Okay, or you can go into here, hit, puño on top. Your puño is facing down but on top of the arm, and either strip it or keep it going this direction. So again, if you're here, hit, bring it down, out to the side, and eject. Or if you hit, go under, this time your puño is facing up, and pull out. So you have the half snake going to here, you have the half snake going with the puño up, then you have the full snake punching out, or you have the other full snake where you continue to wrap and just eject it going this direction. So these would be some of the, again, the disarms that you could do so far on the angle 1 and 2 with the single stick. Okay, continuing along with some of the other angles, using some of the same principles of the disarms you just learned, you could use some of these same principles. Say, for instance, if the guy hits it on an angle 3 over here, and you could use a low wing and then take it out with the backhand strip. So when you're doing this, also I should bring out the couple points. One is whenever you're doing the disarming, to make sure that you're always staying away from the other hand or the other tools. So if the guy, obviously if we get into the Spadi Daga disarms, you always have to watch for the knife, but you also have to watch for the rear hand, because if you're standing here like this, tied up with the disarm, you can get smashed with the rear hand, or he can kick you, so you always have to zone or make sure you're watching or occupying somehow that hand. So if that hand starts to punch now, that you have it taken care of, that your stick is always watching, or the rest of your body. If you're in the middle of a disarm, you're doing a snake and the guy punches here, and you still can do it, but you just have to watch, always watch that hand. So if you're here like this and you're getting ready to snake, that hand may be coming, so it may have to be picked up here or here. Best is obviously to hit it with a stick, or to hit the head, or do a stop hit. Okay, so if we're going back to angle 3, obviously again, check, hit, and I would be moving more, but for the purpose of the video, I'm staying a little bit square with Jeff. So you're here, so with angle 3, you can do a low wing, hit, and come out to this side, or do any of the variations that you had on the backhand strip. If he does an angle 4, you can do a low wing deflection, and then the same principle you had on angle 2. So if you go like that, that would be a hand smash, and bring it out this way. You could also do from a drop stick position, and obviously again the hand smash is the most important thing. You're doing the snake, so if that would be the drop stick where it hits the hand, and then again right away hit to the hand here, then you could punch it out. Or you could do the drop stick and do the snake, continue this direction. Or you could do this drop stick coming in here. And let's say you did the drop stick this way with the hand under, then you could use the same principle because your hand is under. Punch the hand, eject it into the foot or back into the body. So on the angle 4. Now the 5 could be again a low wing, and you could either just pull and strip, which you're just grabbing, because it is a stick, not a blade. You grab into it, this can hit to the head. You can, reality, you hit with the puño to the hand or the wrist, or you could hit with the stick this way, but for practice, usually just go like this. Okay, so that would be the pull and strip on the angle 5. Okay, now if he does a thrust, if he's coming over here with the thrust to the right side of my chest, this again would be a hit to the wrist, to the nerve here, and then you can just vine it on this side. So if it comes here, you just clear it like a gunting, like this, and then use the vine position to bring it out. That's one way to go here. The other way you can do is if he's coming here, you do an inside deflection and then come back to here. So rather than the gunting to this position to take it out, you can do an inside deflection, and if the stick is here, you grab it, pull it out this way. Okay, then you can do the ride this direction. So if you're here, you can ride it over and put the hand under and move it out this direction. Or you can ride it over this way, and if your hand comes here, you can use the puño to help bring it out this direction. So this coming on the high thrust. So the hand can go under, or here, the hand can go over and take it out here. Now one of the harder ones is when the thrust comes on this side, on the 7, so you're coming in, the best if it's coming like that is if you could stop, hit, or thrust, especially if it were blade, and then you can come over and eject it out here. So if you stop, hit, and parry it down, and then hit, bring it down to eject it this way would be one way. Another way, it would be a little longer way around, would be to come around this direction and then take it out with one of the ones that you learned from the cambiata position, coming over, just like you did on the angle one. This could obviously thrust up into the throat from that position too when you're coming over. So again, stop, hit, and then you could come under with the puño sometimes this direction. So if you're like this, and this is coming down, the puño could go up to support it to pop it out. Or you could stop, hit, and then go over this way. And if you came up and went like this, you could still try to follow up with the hits from that position. So this gives you an idea again on how to put some of the disarms on the different angles, but using some of the same principles that we covered in the earlier part. Now the next step would be for a person to do this from flow, as we talked about, so you don't just have to do it when a guy just feeds an angle one and you just go, okay, bang, and disarm. You have to do it out of flow, so you should start to do it out of sombrata positions and puño sombrata so that you can find a disarm. So the way you would train it is you just go slowly at first, and you just go like this until you find the disarm, any disarm that you find, and just keep it. So out of the flow, you can see the disarms at every angle, and you just have to find them out of the flow to do it. Or you may be doing puño sombrata, and then you start to see, well, there's a disarm. So you find the one that feels right for you, and then you start to pick up the pace and go faster, and you same thing. So you just sombrata, if you're doing sombrata, you find another angle that suits you, say a drop stick, and then come back to the disarm. So this would be the way to train it so that you start to get the idea with the flow as well. All right, now we're going to go in a little bit to the double stick disarming. The double stick disarming, normally you wouldn't disarm per se with the type of tie-up disarming with double sticks because there's too much firepower going on with the double sticks. But some of the possibilities are, if you came in like this, you could do an inside deflection and then go into the vine, position with the first stick. So again, on the first stick, and then we'll take care of the second stick. When you go like this is obviously the best is the hand smash, but you're going to go in like this and the inside deflect, and again, this hits here and you do the same vine to take it out. Now with the second hand, obviously, if you went like this and you did the disarm on this hand and he has one and you have two sticks, it really doesn't even particularly make sense to do the disarm in the second one except to smash and to hit him. But if you went like this and come out, one possibility for your coordination would be to do the switch and hit and come over and take it out on this side. So that would be the way that you can follow up all these with the second hand. So if you have the inside deflection, vine on this side. Then you can do the inside deflection and hit, and then bring this up and take it out on this side. And then if you came with this one again, you could still do the switch and hit and bring it over to take it out. But again, you probably wouldn't do that on the second hand. Okay, so when you come in, hit, bring it down, and go right on the puño to smack it out. The second hand, 1, 2, 3. And obviously here you go under or over, if you can see it on this angle here. So after you do the switch and hit, you can come under with the puño or over with the puño, and then obviously you have two sticks to follow up with. Okay, then you can go direct. So first we went inside deflection, inside here, then we went inside deflection to the outside of the puño. This would really smack obviously up under the, excuse me, under the hand. The other way to do it is to go to direct. So if you went like this, you would just automatically just clip it and take it out and then come back into the hitting, or if you wanted to go to the other disarm. So this one, it's hard to practice because when you do this, you're going to smack into the guy's hand, but it would really be hitting up and just taking it out and coming in. The other way you can do it would be direct on the other one. So if you go like this, you stop it here and just go direct and take it out and then follow up or disarm the second stick. So using the inside deflection method, go to here, inside deflection, and go to here, go direct to this position, go direct to this position. Okay, so, and then on the second hand, the possibility, right now we're working is a switch, hit, come back over here, and again you would angle more of it for the camera. I'm not changing the angle too much on this one. Okay, so this would be some of the possibilities with the double sticks. There's others, but these would be the good basics to start with. Okay, with the I want to talk a little bit about the blade disarming. There's differences on how you disarm the blade from the stick. A lot of the disarms that we showed already with the stick do apply to the blade, though. But the thing is, with the blade, normally you don't think of disarming because you have this blade in your hand and you're not going to just try to go in and disarm. The best would be is obviously the cutting to the arm, or the hacking, or the slicing this way would be a better way to go. But if you had to, or if it came up, the disarms that you learned already with the backhand strips and this type of thing would be the type that you would use on the blade. The type you wouldn't use on a blade would obviously be if you went like this and did anything with the vine or trying to grab. You're not going to do that on there. You're not going to do if you thrust a 5, you're not going to grab and do a pull and strip, obviously. You're not going to do the snake on here because he's going to cut up or slash out of it. So those types you wouldn't do. This type you would do, possibly. So you might be able to, if you came in, crashed in, you might be able to get something like this, because again you're using the hand and the flat of the blade. You might be able to get something like this, because even here it's the flat of the blade or the other edge of the back edge that's facing you. It's not to say you wouldn't get a little cut if it happened. If you went here, this would still be okay with the blade coming out this direction. So the strips would be fine if you were to do it, but the snake and the vines and that type of thing, anywhere obviously that you're holding the blade, you wouldn't do that type of disarming with a blade. So I just want to bring this point out, that with the blade, ideally, you don't go to the disarming position. You try to use the slashing motion to the arm or the hand, and then if the disarm did come up, though, that you know which ones to use and which ones not to use. Okay, now we're going to go into the disarming with the Bastani daga or Lisi daga, and we'll show also a little bit with the blade, but for the purpose of the drill right now we're going to be using with the stick and the dagger. So when you come in, the first one we're going to do is you're going to go off of the switch and hit, or cambiatas. You're going to come in and thrust the daga and then eject it. Now right now I'm using this dagger to show the length of the original daga. So if you had the Espadi daga, the length of this would be just what we're showing here, at least 18 inches. So that makes actually some of the techniques that you're doing even easier. But the advantage of having the shorter dagger is it makes it bring out more of the body mechanics, and you have to think more of how to position the body to bring the dagger into play. But this would be the difference in length, and this is even a fairly long dagger, but to show the difference of what the original dagas would be like. So first we'll do one here with this dagger. Comes up, under, see this would already be here, and I hardly even have to move to penetrate into the armpit to bring this out and eject it. Okay, then if you thrust with the daga on this side, you're going to come down, thrust to the body here, and then pinch and eject it here, and then come back and then slash and thrust, follow up. So one more time with this daga. So you come up, thrust under, and you could eject it without putting the hand down, or just keep it under the armpit as you eject it. Then he comes in with the daga. You cover and thrust. The most important thing here is obviously that you're thrusting when you're covering at the same time. And then we're going to move out to the side. We'll turn this way. So we're in this thrust position, and then you're moving up and away from him to come out, and then you could slash and obviously keep the attack going from the back position. Okay. Now again, you probably wouldn't do this with the blade, because with the blade you're better off doing the slashing as the disarms, and this could parry or slash and take care of it this way. But if you were to do it, it would be the same idea. So you come in and you clash here, and you use the flat of the blade, and then you come back and you take it out, and then you can go into your slashing and thrusting pattern from this position. Okay, so for the rest of the drill we're going to keep it with the shorter daga and the stick. Okay, so the next one you're going to do, the first one you went under the armpit. Now you're going to go under and then ride over with the daga and come out to the side, and then we're going to use, for the simplicity of the drill, he's going to thrust low are going to keep the same disarm. You can pinch here, or you can do it without the pinch, eject, and then come back, and always follow up after you finish with your disarm. Okay, so this one went here, under to over with the daga. The next one after that is you're going to come directly over, so with no thrust underneath, and ride it down, and you could ride it and thrust, and always check this other hand. Again, I want to stress that you don't stand here because the dagger's there, and don't forget about the daga as you're disarming here. You always tap that, or check it, or keep away from it, and then come back to the strip here. And then again, we'll use this disarm, cover and thrust, slash, take it out, and then come back into any follow-up. Okay, so let's review the first three. First, you come under, and then you strip it out. Then take care of the daga. The second one, when you came under, you went under, and then you came over afterwards. Then you go directly over and bring it down. Now the next one you're going to do is you're going to bring it down with the stick. So the stick brings it down, and then the daga takes over. And again, I keep tapping here to check that daga to bring it out. And then he could thrust the daga. Now if he goes high with the dagger thrust, we'll use the cover and thrust, ride it down, thrust, insert again. This is the disarm, obviously, here would be to take that out, hit to the head, and then follow up with any of your follow-ups from here. If you thrust high with the daga, let me go back to this on this side. If you cover and thrust, and you're bringing it down here, make sure you're inserting the daga. This is hitting the hand, but let's say you didn't get the daga out at this point. Then you're going to come back to hit the head, punch this into the body. So as this is coming down, you're going to move it towards his body, punch the daga, if you can see it, into the body, and then come out, and then go back into your follow-ups from here. Okay, so the last one we did on the stick was a switch and hit and bring the daga in afterwards, so you cling with the stick. So basically what you're doing is this motion that you did before, but you bring this in and bring it down. Eject it this way. Or you could eject it with the punyo up. Doesn't matter, your punyo up or down. So after you bring it down and you're here, you can have it in this position. The only difference would be that your dagger would have to go under your own arm here to get this out. So if you're in this position, your daga would have to go under your arm, as opposed to if the punyo was on top when you came over this way. Now that it's under this position. So a little different position when you're coming in with that. Okay, the next one we're going to do is the slicing of the hand. So it's like that, and it's like a shaving, like a slice with the blade this way. So if it comes down here, and then you go in and take it out and do the same ejection, and whether he thrusts high or low, follow up, cover and thrust. Let's turn the angle this way so you can see. So you're covering and thrusting here, and then again you can go over the arm, and this would hit. But if you didn't get it out here, follow up, pin it to the body, come out to the side, and then follow up with the slashes and thrusts. Okay, now you can do this drill out of flow. So what he'll do is we'll go back to the abecedario. So he'll feed a 1. He'll come in with a 1, a 4, and a 1, and then you disarm on the 1. So what you can do is go like this: 1, 4, and then 1, and then you practice any of the disarms, and then he comes back, thrusts, and then you follow up. So this would be a good way to do it in flow. So again, you can go like this: 1, a 4, and a 1. At this point, on the 1, when you come back, you can pick any of the disarms that you've already done. And then he thrusts the daga and take it out. Okay? Then you can do it off of the 2. So this time he'll feed a 2, a 3, and a 2. And this time you're going to disarm on a 2, which we haven't shown the disarm yet. So we're going to cover that now before we do this. So when you go with a 2, you're going to thrust in this way. So this goes, ideally, it's hard not to hurt your partner, but your stick is coming down and you're directly putting the daga, go like that. Put the daga like this, so it's going to like that as you punch it in to the arm. So as this is hitting out, it goes direct. So it's called directa Okay, so when this, it's hard to do it with the dog and not to hurt your partner, but you go in like this, and then pull it out, and then disarm, and then he thrusts and take it out, and then follow up. Okay, so now to do that one in flow, you're going to go 2, 3, and 2, and then pull this out, and then go back into here, and go back into your hitting. Okay, now on the 2 again, when you go like this, you can go, as we said, directa, like this, or you can go indirecta, which is, it doesn't go, so in other words, the one is going, penetrating like that, and the other one's going to kind of go bang, bang, as it's coming out. So this other one is going to go indirecta, is more like this. Okay, so there are 2 that you can use on the angle 2. Okay, continuing along with the flow that we were just doing with the 1, 4, 1, and the 2, 3, 2, we're going to now put in the thrust. So Jeff will feed a 1, a 4, and then a 7 thrust, and then he'll feed a 2, a 3, and a 6 thrust coming up. So it's the same flow. So now when you're dealing with the thrust, which we did earlier on the video, with the thrust disarming this way and the thrust disarming this way, but we did it without the daga in the hand, but the same principle applies. So he's going to feed 1, so you have the gunting, and then when he feeds this one, you can use the thrust to counter thrust this way as we did earlier and come out on top or bottom, and then go back into the daga disarm, which I don't have to do right now. Okay, so again, 1, 4, and this time you could go like this. See this? You could parry down with the daga or the hand like that and hit, and then come over and then go back and disarm this and follow up. Okay, so that would be the disarming on the thrust. So again, you can use a variety of disarms, but you can use the stop, and parry down, over. You could use where you just hit and go like this and take it out. Okay, and now on the other thrust, when we're doing this, is going to be 2, 3. Now he does a backhand thrust, and now you can use the same position that you used before and pick up the daga and follow up. So again on this one, 2, gunting, take it out right here. You want to smack that hand again and push the stick a little bit forward. You don't want it to be out here when you do this. It's going to go out that direction, and then when he comes back, hit it down, and in reality, I'd be moving more and pinching it out this way. I'm trying to give you a better camera angle here. Okay, so that would be the flow. So you could do it this 1. So if we start over again, he'll go 1, 4, 1. So we go like this, 1, 4, and now you have the 1, disarm, and then go to the daga. Then you do it with the thrust. So you go 1, 4, and now thrust, and bring it out, and then go back to the daga, and take it out, and come back here. Okay, and then you do the same thing with the 2. So we go 2, 4, 2, bury it in, and bring it back, and come out this way, and then go into your follow-ups over here. Then you can go with the thrust, so you go 2, 3, thrust, smack it out, and then come back and go into the follow-ups. Okay, now we're going to cover the, both going to have the sock grip in our hands, and he's going to be, Jeff's going to, you start. I can tell it was coming.
Okay, and go.
Okay, Jeff, stop. This is not good. Both people using the sock grip. Jeff has his arm guard.
That wasn't me. Jeff has his arm guard.
Okay, continuing along with the disarming on the second motion. With the sock grip, we're going to start again with angle 1, and then he comes with a diagonal up. Okay, but it's going to be done on the second motion. So when you come in, you can have the dagger facing up underneath behind the arm this way. You can pinch this way with the dagger. You can go over. Forget it. It's gone. Can't even say dagger now. I should go to another section. All right, so disarming on, you ready? Disarming on the second motion. Who's going to be serious here? I'm just going to be serious. I'm ready. Maybe I should do locking. Now continuing with the disarming on the second motion. Okay, I'm just going to keep trying, Bob. You're rolling. Okay, now